But one of his biggest obstacles has nothing to do with Mother Nature.
On day one, I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal, illegal immigrants from this country.
Donald Trump's pledge to crack down on undocumented workers propelled him to the Republican nomination. And if he follows through, it would destroy Del Bosque's business.
Every cantaloupe in this field and every cantaloupe that goes to the store and goes to your table is picked by an immigrant's hand. Now you take away those hands and you don't have those fresh fruits and vegetables anymore.
Undocumented immigrants are the lifeblood of agriculture. More than half of all farm workers are not supposed to be here.
Starting in the 1980s, there's been a constant influx of new people from Mexico.
Recently, that steady influx has slowed, and farmers like Harold McClarty feel it.
Believe it or not, the border does work.
That's because of more robust enforcement under the Obama administration, and many people not coming at all because of better job prospects south of the border. And that's threatening the food supply. When did the light switch go off for you to say, oh my goodness, things have really drastically changed, and I'm in trouble if I don't change with them?
I think it happened like 6 or 8 years ago. We didn't have excess labor. It was like we barely had enough labor to get by. And there were actually times in the last 6 years where we were actually short crews.
Short on labor, farmers have left crops to rot.
If I pick it a day early, you have disappointment. If I pick that piece of fruit a day late, it's a disaster. Competition for labor is fierce, and so we've actually lost either a pick or a whole variety simply because we couldn't get the labor that we need.
Competition is driving wages higher. The average is $12 an hour, up 5% in the last year. But the higher pay isn't bringing more Americans to the fields.
I don't think we will ever get Americans back in the fields in large numbers picking crops.
Farmers say the jobs are here, right now, and Americans won't do them.
We can't get Americans to come and do that.
You can't?
No, we can't.
You really can't?
We have.
What if you pay them more?
Right now, we have about 300 employees harvesting cantaloupes. We probably have 2 people who are not immigrants in those 300 people. And we will hire anybody that comes here.
Some American guys come and do it. They do it for 1 hour and they left.
Jorge Negrete has been working on farms for decades.
You carry a lot of weight all day long. Up in the ladder with the 20 pounds of fruit, 10 pounds of fruit. When I come to America, I come in 1976, and I'm illegal at that time.
When he came across the border, government raids in the fields were not unusual.
Well, the condition at that time is really tough. The immigration is every single day is look for people and send them back to Mexico.
3 decades later, and now a citizen, he's in charge of McClarty's stone fruit business.
We couldn't run this operation without him.
Like Negrete, many farm workers are getting older.
Typical farm worker traditionally has been a 28, 29-year-old, but now they're a decade older, 38, 39.
It's part of the reason that America is producing less of its own food. Today, the U.S. imports 20% of its food. That number grows every year. U.S. agriculture is built on the backs of undocumented workers, and it's not clear the system can function without them. In fact, Trump promises to get American jobs back, but his policies could have the opposite effect, sending food production and farm jobs elsewhere.
It's not as if restaurants are going to close because there's no U.S.-produced peaches. There will still be peaches. They may be grown in South Africa or Chile or some other country.
Which may be fine for consumers, but not for American farmers and their workers.
They're working and they're happy to be making money. And that's a great thing for us, and it's a great thing for the American public. And every time that they pick up a fresh fruit, they should be grateful that somebody is out here in 100-degree weather picking that fruit for them.